What's up, fuckers? What do I call you guys? Sky Knight told me to call you guys teabags a while ago. Should I call you guys teabags? What's up, teabags? Welcome back to HRTea. I hope your week was swell. Is that going to stick? I don't know. Or is it cringy? We'll find out. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to HRTea. I hope your week was swell. Today's guest is Rickie. That was stupid. Rickie is 25. He's from Utah. We talked about things that I haven't talked about in a while, like the bathroom law and internalized transphobia a little bit. We talked about it all. It was a nice, fun, easy episode. I'm really excited about it, so I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's any topics you guys want to hear about that I haven't touched on or you want to hear more about, please comment below and let me know. I'll be happy to talk about it. If you want to be on the podcast, if you want to come here and talk to me, take the survey that is it's in my link tree in the description below. You scroll down, click, take the survey, whatever the hell. Come be on the podcast. Come talk to me. Join my Patreon. Subscribe to it, maybe. I have a lot of bonus content on there. If you want to see the podcast grow and you want to support me, that's the best way to do it. And I would really, 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 really appreciate you. I stream video games every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out. It's a lot of fun. And join my Discord if you haven't already. A lot of trans people in there getting to know each other, having a good old time. Talk about anything and everything. Let's go talk to Rickie. I love y'all so much. Bye. I don't know. I'm going to start by asking you where you're from.
Okay, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I hate it here. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with it, but it's mostly hate.
And why is that?
Just because I don't totally love the culture here. Like, I was born and raised here, and, like, obviously things have changed a lot since I was a kid. But I mean, just with, like, all of the religion and just, like, that kind of vibe, it's just not my favorite.
Damn, I wanted to visit Utah. I want to go skiing in Utah really badly. But now I don't know.
It's perfect. Like, the snow is awesome. Like, that is probably one of the best things about Utah, but like culturally, it's just not it.
Weird question. What's the weather like in Utah right now?
Right now, it's really warm. So I think we're gonna be in like the high 90s today, and that's like par for the course for summer. Like, we're probably gonna be breaking 100 here in the next couple of weeks, and we already have so far this summer, but it's hot.
It's hot as balls here too. It's about to be like 90 here as well. I've never, because this is really on topic, but I'm interested. But is the skiing season in Utah like all year round or no?
No, so it's only in the winter. So typically at like the end of fall, so I would say end of October, early November is when like ski season starts. And then by like early spring is when it's over, but it depends on how good of a winter we've gotten, like snow wise. But yeah, it's only like a winter thing.
I don't know why I thought it was all year round. You're like, yeah, it's 100 degrees here, and I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna go skiing. All right, Rickie, how old are you?
I just turned 25 a little over a month ago.
Nice, happy birthday! Love that.
Thank you.
Clearly you're on hormones. How long have you been on hormones?
I just hit 2 years 4 days ago.
Wow, congratulations. Period.
Thank you.
I would have thought you've been on hormones for at least 4 or 5 years. Good for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, I feel a lot better now. Like, that's such a good thing to hear.
Do you do injections?
I do, yeah.
How do you like those injections?
They're not bad. I do sub-Q, which I would prefer sub-Q over IM because IM scares me. I've just heard like all of these things about IM and they're very intimidating to me, so I'm like totally fine with sub-Q.
Do you do it in your thighs or in the stomach?
So I started doing it in the stomach right after I started hormones, and then I think a couple of weeks ago I was like, okay, I'm not totally loving what's going on in my stomach
Mm,
because I would get like these lumps
mhm,
right like the day after I would do it, and it would be really sore for like a couple of days.
mm.
And so I was like, I'm gonna try it in my ass because I've heard really good things about doing it in the ass. And so I was like, okay, we're just gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so
Weird.
I'm not the one that's been doing it. I
Mm.
like recruited my fiance to do it. I was like, I'm gonna have you give me my shot in my ass and we're gonna try it. And she was like, all right. And she's a vet tech, so
Okay.
she's not like, unfamiliar with injections. She does them all the time. She's really good at it.
Mhm.
And she did it. And I was like, okay, I'm never going back. I'm never doing it in my stomach again. It's going to be in my ass every week. And that's how we're doing it.
Taken in the ass every week. I love to hear it.
Oh, yeah, right?
No, that's dope. I love that you have somebody do it for you. I and I don't blame you for being on sub Q. I was on IM for like 5 years and it was awful. I don't recommend to anybody. There's people out there that fucking love it though. Like absolutely love IM over sub Q and gel and everything else. And I'm like, y'all are crazy. I mean, like I know I did it for 5 years, but like to love it, y'all are weird.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah,
are
no, couldn't
freaky.
be me. Nope. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that like the needles are so long and like having to stick it like straight in your leg in the muscle just sounds like so much more extreme than just like a diabetic
Mhm.
needle that's like this long, it's not very big. Like
Mhm.
I'll take that any day.
Do you know the story? Have you heard my story about the first time I took my shot?
I don't think so.
I didn't know what I was doing. And long story short, because I've told the story a couple times, I use, the 18 gauge needle that you sometimes have to use to draw it up. I use that to
Hmm.
inject because I was confused. So I I drew it up with the same needle, the same 18 gauge needle, and then went to go stick it in my leg. Dude, I was sitting there bawling my fucking eyes out.
Oh my god.
It was bad.
Oh
It was like
no.
sticking the tip of a pencil into your leg, dude. I wouldn't wish that on my worst fucking enemy. Horrible.
Oh god, no, because like an 18 gauge is like what you get like a piercing with. And you oh no. Oh no.
I was like, is this really what it like takes to be trans? Because if so, I'm out. Like
I'm
I
out.
am out. It's a
I'm out.
choice at that point. Like I'm
Oh
done.
no. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, it
Oh
was
god,
bad.
no.
Um, what's your dose? Do you?
So mine is zero point 0.5 mLs or like 100 milligrams once a week.
That's what I do. I used to be 100 milligrams every 2 weeks, and then I was 50 milligrams every week, and now I'm back to like 100 every week. But I'm on gel now. Have you ever thought about gel?
So I haven't done a ton of research on gel, just like what I've seen on like social media with like other trans guys. And I'm like, oh, that would be nice, not having to jab yourself with a needle.
Hmm.
But I mean, I haven't looked into it too much, no.
I'd say if you're only 2 years, I would say keep going with the injections if you don't hate it. But in like 5 years, when you're like, I'm sick of this shit, definitely consider gel because it's absolute bliss when you've been doing injections for so long and you don't have to do it anymore. I mean, gel you have to do every single day, but it's a quick
Mhm.
like rub on the thighs and then continue with your day.
You're
Like
good.
it's so easy. I've made it my mission to now talk everybody into going onto gel at least one time in their life. You have to try it.
Nice.
I love it.
All right.
Period.
Cool.
Have you? So you have a little shot routine. You ask your fiance to do it every week for you.
Yes. So I normally just have her like do the whole nine. Like I'll have her draw it up, switch the hubs, put the inject needle on, poke, and we're done.
And we're done. Now, because you have somebody else do it for you, does that like make it so you never really forget your shots, or do you still forget sometimes?
I still forget sometimes just because we have to like set the time aside to do it cuz like my shot day is on Tuesday, so technically it's today.
Mm.
But sometimes we're just like so busy doing things and I'm like, "Oh shit, like we forgot to do my shot." And she's like, "Oh, well just go get me your stuff and I'll just do it real quick." And I'm like, "All right." And then we'll just, do it whenever we remember, which is typically the next day. But it definitely makes it easier because I have someone else that's like, "Hey, we need to do that. So,
Mm.
like, go get your shit and let's do it."
Mm. If I had somebody who was just like always doing my shots for me, I probably would have switched to be honest. Because like it wasn't even so much the needle for me, it was the drawing it up and then having to sit there for a second and like brace yourself for the pain. When somebody else is doing it for you, you don't really have to look or anything. Ugh,
Yeah.
fucking shout out to my girlfriend who's afraid of needles as well and won't do it for
Oh,
me.
yeah. It's bad, like, and that was my problem too when I first started doing it. Was it wasn't the fact that I had to do it, it was just, like, sitting there knowing, like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to poke myself with this, and
Mhm,
I have to accept that,"
mhm.
and I feel like for the first little while, there was a lot of hesitation where it was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it now. Okay, now I'm gonna do it. Okay, now I'm gonna do it," and it's like, if I have someone else do it, it's just like 1, 2, 3, poke, and then you're done.
Yep, yep. I I wish I could I wished I mean, my sister did it for me a couple times because there was a period where I was like, "I'm just so not in the right headspace to poke myself." I might poke myself in the ear or in the eye by accident because 'cause I'm just not well. So, you have to do this for me, and that was great. And then I was like, I can't have my sister do this for me every week, like, that's just I can't." And then when I got back into it, it was just became like the routine of it. I was like and then I would forget what leg I put it in every week, and then, I started to feel my thigh, and it would just not feel like a normal thigh, and I was like, "I'm just fucking this up left and right. I'm done. Fuck this."
Yeah, no, I mean, I had that same problem when I was doing it in my stomach because it was like, okay, did I do my left or my right side
Mhm.
last week? And then it's like, I mean, it wouldn't really matter because I'm not doing the exact same injection site, but like evening it out definitely helps. But like, I know the feeling for sure.
And, like, I've talked to people, who do it who give themselves injections in their own ass. Tried, can't do that. I can't make that fucking swivel. Are you kidding me? I don't twist that way. That's crazy. I don't know how people do that.
Yeah,
Could be
no.
me.
I mean, I tried, like, I tried to do it, and I was like, "I don't have enough leverage to be able to, like, turn and then also send this needle, like, into my ass cheek."
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah, if I just recruit someone else to do it for me, it'll just be easier
Sure.
all the way around."
I love that. Good for you.
Yeah.
Um, oh, how do you get your hormones?
So, I actually have, like, a primary care doctor that specializes in transgender healthcare.
Very
And
good.
so, I just have her like call in my hormones, and then there's a pharmacy in the clinic, and then I just go and pick it up, and we're good.
All right. I love to hear that. I absolutely love it.
Right?
I like when people use their primary care doctors. It gives me faith for the future.
Right? Yeah.
Now, how about surgeries? Have you gotten any? Do you want any in the future?
Yes. So I just hit 3 months post-op top surgery,
Oh,
so that's
wow.
done out of the way.
Congratulations. You're hitting all the
I
big milestones. I love it.
I know,
Period.
right? And like I love it. Like I'm loving life. I love everything about it.
Nice.
And I think the only other one that I'm considering is a hysterectomy, and that's only because I have like horrible endometriosis, and it would just be like good if that entire thing could just like vacate the premises.
Wait, can you explain to me what exactly that is? Because I don't know if we're on close.
Yeah, so endometriosis is where your body just produces mass amounts of estrogen. And so because of that, you have extra scar tissue that can grow on the inside of your uterus and also the outside.
Huh.
And so if it gets bad enough, you have to go in and they have to burn all of the scar tissue out, which I've had that done before.
Ooh,
I had that done 2 or 3 years ago.
damn.
And then they put like an IUD in, and it helps keep estrogen lower, your estrogen levels lower. And so then the scar tissue doesn't start to form. But eventually I'll have to have it done again unless I get a hysterectomy. And then that way I just won't have to worry about it again. But it's just horrible. Like it's a horrible thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, no, that sucks. Especially like being a trans person, like or a trans man at least, like having to literally fight the estrogen that much sounds horrible. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were gonna say you had like horrible cramps or something, because that's a reason why I came off of injections because I was getting horrible fucking cramps all the time. I guess because my shot days were too far apart, and by the end, like I had no testosterone left in my system, and that's when I would start getting cramps because my body was like filling with estrogen, I guess. And I was like, "What the
Mm.
that's like the worst reason, okay? That's the worst reason to
Oh
get
yeah.
cramps."
Oh yeah.
But,
Ugh.
how do you feel about, like, getting the hysterectomy? Like, is that something, like, you would have gotten anyway or no?
I think so. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as like how I felt about top surgery because that's something that exists on the outside
Mhm,
and like having to bind or tape all the time just to like get rid of it
mhm,
was just like enough that I was like, nope, I want them gone. Like, take them off. I don't care.
mhm.
But like with a hysterectomy, it's like it's on the inside. So it's not something I have to constantly look at all the time.
Yeah,
And so I did want one just regardless, but because I have endometriosis, it's just like that extra reason of like, let's just get rid of it.
yeah, I hear
But
you.
yeah.
I'm the same way. I was kinda like, if I didn't have the cramp, because I was hardcore thinking about it for a while when I was cramping like crazy, but if I didn't have the cramps, I would've been like, "I don't fucking care, I can't see it," and, like, I want kids one day. I don't wanna carry my own,
Mhm.
but, like, if I, whatever, decide to freeze my shit or whatever, I can't do that if I get a hysterectomy now. So I was really like
Right.
it was like a big struggle for me to have to think about. And like if my cramps do come back, I will have to think about it again. And it's just but like I feel like most trans people, at least our age, are coming to terms with the fact that they don't want children. Like
Yeah. Right.
I feel like most of us don't want children or are like very much want to adopt, which I'm very open to as well. But I don't know, I kinda want a
Yeah.
little me one day, you know?
Oh, same. Like
Yeah.
I would love a little me. And I think that I've come to a point where it's like if I have kids, I'm not totally hell bent on having them be biologically related to me
Mhm.
because that's not a big thing. And so like if it came down to adoption or if I had like my fiance had like a sperm donor, like I don't care because I'm still going to raise that kid like it's mine. It's not going to matter.
Period. I'm, like, starting to get there with that. I think sometimes, I think about a sperm donor and I'm like, "Fuck. Damn it.
No.
I don't want that."
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. Like it was a thing that I had to think about for a really long time because it did start to eat me alive that it's like I can't have biological children the way that cis people can, and that's a very heavy thing to have to just carry around all the time.
Mhm.
And so it takes a lot of like thinking and realizing that it doesn't matter. But yeah,
You're right.
it's a thing to process.
You're right. No, I'm glad to hear it from somebody who does want kids one day, who is playing with the thought of a hysterectomy and stuff, and because it's something that I've struggled with for a long time, thinking about kids in the future. So hearing another person being like, it doesn't fucking matter if they're biological or not, actually like means something to me. So I appreciate you sharing that with
Oh, got you.
me. um. All right. So I'm gonna try something new with my episodes. I'm gonna try because I never the whole theme of HRT, right? It's a play on hormone replacement therapy. Everybody got that?
Right.
And then it's also tea, as in like spilling the tea. But I never sit here and drink tea. I never talk about tea. I never say spill the tea. I'm bad at branding, I guess. So from now on, unless you guys think it's super cringy and stupid, or you have any better ideas, we're gonna call this segment of people, saying their coming out stories. We're gonna call it "Spill the Tea." So,
I
Ricky,
love it.
thank you so much, Ricky.
I love
I
it.
appreciate you. I'm like
Oh,
sitting there
absolutely.
typing, spill the tea. I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
No, I get it. Because I mean, like, that's actually something that I say all the time.
Hey.
Like, me and my fiance will sit and, like, talk, and she'll be like, okay, I have some tea to spill. And I'm like, spill it. Let's hear it. So
Period.
I love it. I'm down.
Period. Okay, Ricky, spill the tea. When did you come out as trans?
So I came out as trans in June of 2022. Like, Pride weekend, I was like, you know what? I owe it to myself. I need to be my most authentic version of me. So, like, here I am. I'm trans. Let's go. Let's do this.
Hell yeah. And so you came out during Pride Month, which is dope. Hell yeah. in
Yeah.
2022, and how did that go? Did you like start by telling friends or family, or did you just like post it on social media?
So it started with a conversation that I had with my fiance because I had been thinking about it. I had been questioning my gender identity for probably like a year or two prior to that. And it was just like this constant theme that I had going in my head of like, I don't think that I'm just like attracted to women. I think it's more than that. I think there's
Mm,
something going on gender wise. And so I was honestly scared to tell her because it's just coming out is either it goes really good or it goes horribly. And so I was like, I think it's going to go good and I have faith in that.
mm,
And so I started with her and we were just driving in the car and I was like, I need to tell you something and I'm not sure how you're going to react. And I'm going to tell you right now that I'm really scared. But I think that I'm trans and I think I want to start hormones. I want top surgery. Like, I think this is real. I think this is who I really am. And she was like, I appreciate you having that level of honesty with me because coming out is really hard. And no matter what, like, I love you. I support you. I will be here. Like, I'm not gonna, nothing is gonna happen. I'm gonna be here the entire time and we're gonna do this together. And I was like, all right. And just like her saying that was enough to just like make me start uncontrollably sobbing
mm.
because it's like that that's what I felt like my biggest hurdle was.
Mm,
And I was like, to hear you say that is just like so nice to hear.
mhm,
But
mhm.
that's where it started.
Period. No, I love that. I think that's super important because, like, also I can't imagine like, because when I came out as trans, like, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I didn't like sit there and think about how I was trans before we had that conversation. Like my girlfriend at the time was just like, "Are you a dude?" And I was like, "Shit, probably. Oh my god." And like
Yeah.
that's how I like came out, but I didn't even mean to come out. But I can't imagine like having those thoughts to myself for like a little bit before telling my significant other. Like that was probably like so scary. Cause like with a significant other, it's like, I mean, with your parents and whatnot, like, yes, they don't have to support you, but they have to love you at least a little, but like your partner can
Mhm.
choose to leave and choose to not love you anymore, you know what I mean, in a sense.
Exactly.
So that was probably really scary. And I'm so glad she took it so well because like that was, as you said, it was the biggest hurdle, but it was probably like a make or break moment for your entire transition. You know what I mean? If she
Oh, it definitely
Yeah,
was.
if she was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm good." Like, oh my god, you probably would have stayed in the closet for at least another year because you were so scared.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been like a breaking point for sure because there would have been so much doubt that would have come from it, just from that little bit of rejection that it's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, like, is this true? Like, am I being true to myself? Am I crazy?
Yeah, is it me? Am I the problem?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy that she was so supportive. That's so cool. What did you do after that conversation?
So after that is when we were like, okay, so where do we start this? Where does this process begin? And so that's when we went to SLC Pride and I found one of our like big universities here has a transgender health program. And so I had walked up to like their booth they had set up and I was like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm looking to do. What do I do? And they were like, well, this is what you do. You just reach out to like our transgender health team and then they'll tell you what to do. And that's what I did. And so in July, I had my first appointment with my PCP, and she was like, okay, let's get you started on hormones. We can talk about top surgery in the future. But yeah, let's do it. And so started hormones a month later, and then here we are 2 years later, and then top surgery and all that.
Wow.
And then I had this conversation with my parents about a week before I started hormones, and I was like, I'm trans, just so you know. And they tried everything in the book to get me to not start hormones because they were like, this is permanent. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how dangerous this is. And I was like, at this point, I would rather start hormones and take that risk, because if I don't, there's a good chance I'm just going to end up dead. So I'm
Mhm.
going to do what I feel is right. And you guys are just going to have to jump on the bandwagon and accept it.
Mhm.
And it's that just all on its own, like dealing with my parents has been an entire like thing. But I think it's getting better. I think we're making progress.
That's good. That's good. I mean, did you like do it on purpose? Like right before you started hormones, you told them because like you knew like if you told them before, like way before you started hormones, that like they would try even harder to get you to stop.
I think so, because I had sent this long ass like novel of a text to my mom saying like this is how I felt for the majority of my life, and this is where I'm actually starting to do something about it,
Hmm.
and I'm coming to you with like full transparency, like this is who I am. I'm trans and I need you to support me. And that's when they were just like, wait, what? And I was like, I don't know how you guys are so surprised, because I've been like mask presenting my entire life.
Yeah.
But if this is news to you, okay. But I kind of did it on purpose, and it was actually them that had me come over, and they were like, we need to have a discussion about this. And I'm like, I don't care what you have to say. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think that on their end it was more on purpose of like, if we get you to have this conversation a week before you go on hormones, there's a slight possibility we'll be able to change your mind. But it's like, no, I'm still going to do what I'm going to do.
Hmm. Now, do you see them often now or no?
I do. I see them like not regularly, but like every little while I'll like go over and be like, hey, I still exist. Or, I'll send a text to like my dad or something, and like it's not like we don't have a relationship at all. I just think we have a very complicated one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Families are messy as hell. Um, I was gonna ask, like, now that they've seen you like grow facial hair and your voice is deeper and you look like a man, blah, 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 do you think that has changed their like perception on hormones for you or no?
I think a little bit, yeah, because they see that like I'm becoming a more like authentic version of myself, and I'm just like overall happier, and I
Mm.
think that they can see that, but they still have an issue of like using my correct pronouns, and they've pretty much stopped using my dead name, which is really good because I can't stand my dead name at all. And like the best part about my name now, my name Rickie, is that that name came from my dad. It started as a nickname that he gave me when I was like in middle school, and I loved it. I fell in love with it, and I was like, this is the name that I'm going to go by for the rest of my life. And so that wasn't a problem. The dead name part of it wasn't a problem because everyone just called me Rickie.
That's
But
cute.
like the pronoun thing, they're still struggling with.
Do you find that they like is it in front of you that they struggle with, or is it like more like over text or like behind your back or like or is it like really in front of your face they'll misgender you?
It's both. So they'll do it like in front of my face, like to other people, and they'll also, like 99% sure they do it behind my back too. Which I'm just like, if you're doing it behind my back, if I don't hear it, I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sitting here and you're talking to someone else right in front of me and you're calling me a girl, like you're making both of us look crazy right now.
Like that's what I've never understood. Like before I started hormones, like fine, because like I whatever, you're still not seeing me as a man, and like
Hmm.
whatever, if you need that masculine proof, then fine. But like I have a full beard. My voice is all the way down here now. Like I don't get how you could look at me or you and say the word she, even if it's been 24 years of you saying she. How could you like if it's behind my back and like you just forget I'm trans for a second and like you're thinking about your daughter that you've raised since I was whatever, like fine. But if it's in front of my face
Hmm.
and you are talking to me, how? I don't get it. Like that's
Because at that point, it becomes a choice. Like it becomes a conscious choice that you're making to use the wrong pronouns
Yep.
because I'm sitting here, full beard, I got a stash, I flat chested, full mask right here,
Mhm.
and you're still like calling me a girl. Like that is a conscious choice that you are
Mhm.
making.
Mhm. Like, I feel like it's an extra step. Like, you're
Mhm.
trying to misgender me. And, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, with my dad, I did the same thing. I didn't tell him I was trans until 3 days before I started hormones. I didn't see my dad. My parents are divorced, so I only saw him every so often, but yeah, I waited till the last very minute because I mean, I couldn't just show up one day with, facial hair and a deep ass voice. He'd be like, "What the fuck? I thought you were just a
What?
lesbian. What the
Yeah.
fuck?" So I
Exactly.
had to tell him, and he didn't. He wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't understand. He was gonna misgender me all he fucking wanted. He didn't fucking get it. Yada yada. And then like we would go out to dinner, and like the waitress would start referring to me as sir, and then like he realized that he was the one that was looking foolish because he was sitting there calling a man a girl, and everybody else was like, "Yeah, yo, that's a dude. That's a whole man. What do you on right
What
now?"
are you?
You know what I mean? So like he was forced to support me. You know what I mean? Which doesn't feel
Yeah.
great. Doesn't feel great at
Right?
all.
Like you would rather have them do it on their own volition rather than like being in a public setting and they're calling you one thing and everyone else is calling you the other. And it's like, okay, first of all, this is super embarrassing for
Mhm.
both of us right now.
Mhm.
But it would just be much, much easier if you would just like hop on the bandwagon and just like accept me,
Mhm.
you know?
Do you think that being around your parents more, like them seeing how masculine you are now, would help or hurt the situation?
I mean, I've thought about that because it's like maybe if they see me in like my natural state that they'll kind of see, okay, like this is making a lot more sense, like this is feeling more natural. I've thought about that, but it's more of like I don't want to spend so much time with them that it's like they're still going to sit there and do all of these things. And so
Mm.
I don't know. I've thought about it though.
You need boundaries. Like I'm glad
Hmm.
that you don't live with them, right? I mean, you
Oh no.
yeah, I'm glad you don't live with them, and like you've put boundaries in place because it's important as a trans person. Like if you were surrounded by that all the time, somebody just constantly down your throat misgendering you and telling you that hormones are going to kill you and you don't know the side effects and blah 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 blah. I mean, like after a while, you'd probably like half start to believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? New topic. I've been thinking about this for a while, but like I don't know. I guess maybe just me because I'm so subjected to like transphobia online all the time, and I see it everywhere. I have to go looking for it because of the content that I make, and like I see it. It's in my face all the time, and like the thought of like you hear it so much you're gonna start to believe it. I'm not. Hey, I'm not saying I believe it, but like, have you ever been in just a really bad mindset that you're like, are they right? Like,
I mean,
does that make
yeah.
sense? Like,
I think so, yeah. Because I mean, you do. Like, being a trans person, that's just something that you're exposed to all the time, whether it's like in person or just like online. You've got all of these people saying, you're doing these horrible things. You don't know how dangerous this is, and it's like, well, like, are they? Like, is this really something that I should be concerned about?
right.
Like, and you do, like, you kind of feed into it. And I think it's awful because I think it does a number on just like mental health of like you've got all of this negativity around you saying like these things you're doing are horrible and like I mean I haven't gotten to a point where it's like maybe I should believe it because I value myself and like who I am as a person and who I want to be
Mhm.
more than believing all of these horrible things people are telling me.
Right. No, yeah, I hear you. I think there was a time early in my transition. I don't think I even started hormones yet. Um, and I was just getting used to people saying Cody and using he him pronouns for myself. And in my head, sometimes I would like call myself by the wrong name and like misgender myself, but it was fine because it was in my head. I was like, it's fine, everything's fine. I'm just getting used to it. And then one time, my sister had friends over. I had a bunch of friends over. My mom was away. We were throwing a party. Sorry, mom. And one of her friends came up to me and introduced himself. And it was so bad. I looked like a dude, but, like, you could tell I wasn't on hormones yet. Like, I did look like a dude though, and he was like "What's up? My name's blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Cody. I'm Lindsay's sister." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I mean, brother." I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna go. Sorry."
Um, bye. Like, oh, yeah. I mean, there's been times that I'm like, even still, like, I think this just happened the other day. Like, I was filling some form out and I was just like, subconsciously, whatever. And I totally just like wrote my dead name when I like haven't written my dead name in like, I don't know how long.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, what is going on right now? And it just like, it threw me through a loop for a second because it was like I no longer associate with that person. So like where the fuck did
Mhm.
that come from?
No, it's kinda scary. Like, in that moment talking to that dude, I was like, "Am I not trans? Like, is this a sign? Like, have I been lying to everybody? Oh, fuck." And then I was like, "Fuck, I gotta tell everybody that, like, this was a joke or something." Like, it was bad. And
Yeah.
I still get into those, like, bad not still, but, like, there are moments where I'm like or I'll see, like a trans creator, a pretty famous trans creator, like say they're detransitioning or something, and I'm like, or someone that gave me like a lot of hope, you know? And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh fuck, like if you're detransitioning, what does that mean for the rest of us? Like,
Yeah.
damn.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it gets scary sometimes with all of that negativity in the air and like being subjected to it. And like and I think the only thing that, like, makes me be like, "You know what? They're just stupid." And you know what? If I did, decide one day that this isn't for me, then that doesn't take away from the trans community whatsoever. It doesn't take away from my journey at all. Like, who I am now is who I want to be now. I don't know if I'll be this person in the future. I mean, I do, but, like, just,
That,
explaining,
that, yeah.
I it wouldn't take away from all of the things I learned along the way and all of the relationships I've built and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, it
Right.
doesn't have to be that deep. If I detransition
Hmm.
one day, I detransition one day. Doesn't mean trans people aren't real. Sorry, I went off on a little
Yeah.
tangent there.
No, like that's fair. Like everyone's transition is going to be different and like it's a journey. It's a personal journey where you literally find yourself who you want to be.
Yeah.
And, if that's what happens down the road, then that's what happens down the road. And that may not happen to everyone, but like if it happens, it happens.
hmm I hate when transphobes are like, or they see a detransitioner and they're like, see, told you, told you,
Proof.
proof, detransitioners are proof.
Yeah.
No, like, oh my god, like, take a million people, like, one of them, at least a few of them, are going to change their minds because life is fucking messy and people make
Mhm.
mistakes, like, or not, or it wasn't a mistake and that's what they wanted for a while and now it's not. Like, oh my god, people grow and evolve. You close-minded piece of that. Sorry.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I have some questions to ask you now. We're going to call this segment Tea Talk Unfiltered.
Oh, let's go.
All right, so what do you wish people understood about being a trans man?
So I wish people understood that trans men, and I mean just like trans people in general, like, uh, I mean, trans men are just as real as like a cis man is. And like, it doesn't matter what lies below our belt. Like, that's our business, no one else's.
Mhm,
And like, I wish more people understood that like, we're just humans. Everyone is all human,
mhm,
and we just want to be like our more authentic selves, and
right,
there's nothing wrong with that.
very true.
And I wish that they understood how hard like this shit is, like whether it's changing your name legally or your gender marker or like getting people to stop using your dead name or right pronouns. Like, it's a difficult thing to have to deal with, and I don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is
Mhm,
and why it's so hard.
mhm. They write it off as, like, wanting attention in, like, a
Hmm.
sense where it's like, "Why would I want that kind of attention?" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like girly, I want attention, but not that attention. Like, I don't, you think I want to have to go around school or around work and tell people that, like, I'm changing my gender? Oh my God, no.
No.
No,
Like,
that's embarrassing. Like, I don't want to do that. Like,
uh,
I mean, you learn along the way. It's not embarrassing, but in the moment, it's fucking embarrassing. So, therefore, why would I choose that? Therefore, it's not a
yeah,
choice. Period. On
exactly.
God. And like
Preach.
the people who think about genitals first, weird. You're a weirdo. Okay. Why are you thinking about what's in people's pants? I mean, not a new concept, but like if I tell you I'm trans and your mind, the first thing it goes to is my genitals. Um, what the fuck?
Like, you need help,
Right.
like, more than me. Like,
You think I'm
this or
mentally ill? Are we kidding? Like, how is this even a conversation of who's mentally ill? If I say one thing to you about gender, and immediately you think about genitalia, like, why? Look at me. Look at who I am as a person. The words that I'm saying. Look at how I look, if you want, and take it as it is. Like, God, God, is
I
me.
know it's gross. It really is.
Mhm. I just did an After Dark episode. One of the TikToks that I reacted to, it was a trans woman sitting in, I don't remember, was it court? I have no fucking idea. But there were men, you know, asking her questions. This one guy was like, "Are you trans?" She was like, "Yes, I'm a transgender woman." She was a doctor. And he goes, "Okay, do you have a penis?" And the whole room, the entire room just went, "Oh, no." And she was like,
Ugh,
"Do not fucking ask me that. I'm a doctor. Treat me as such. I'm a person. Why are you asking me about my genitals?" And this man had the nerve, the absolute fucking nerve to go, "Well, you were talking about genitals first. You started it." And she was like, "Where on God's green fucking earth was I talking about penis or vagina? Where was I talking about that?" And
ugh.
that's what bothers me the most is that people who are that ignorant, who just live in their own fucking mind, think that by being trans or by talking about trans people, that we're talking about sex or genitals. Like, is that a kitten or a dog? That's a cat. Oh
Yes,
my gosh, hello.
it's a cat. It's a cat.
They wanted in on this conversation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's fully invested.
I love it. Getting on the pod. But yeah, I that's what bothers me the most is when people think that just talking about transness or someone who is trans, like that it's just all about genitals and sex. And that's why people call us groomers when it comes to
Mhm.
children and shit. Like, because if you just stop for a second and think like, "Oh my God, it has nothing to do with sex and genitals," then like that's you're one step closer to like being an ally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I don't know why that's like the number one thing that it gets like that's the extreme that it gets taken to
Mhm.
every single time is that it comes down to like what's below the belt. And it's like, let's not look at that and just look at who I am as a person, who I'm presenting as, who I'm asking, or like what I'm asking you to refer to me as. Like, that's what it's about, not the physicality
Mhm.
of like what's going on, you know?
Right. Well, it's your fucking biology. It's biology, bro. Oh my God, fuck your biology. I don't give a damn about your fucking biology, bro. Take your
No.
biology and shove it up your ass. That's what I have to say.
Dead ass, dude. Ugh.
Next question for you. Who are some role models or figures who have inspired you, trans or not?
So I would say Freddie Mercury. I think the guy is a king. Like, I love Queen. I just love him
Hmm.
as a person, and I always have.
Me
Um,
too. Queen slaps.
but yeah. And I mean, trans wise, like trans men wise, I would say top two would be Elliot Fletcher and Luke Whale.
Oh, Luke Whale will always have my heart. He will always have my freaking heart. I
Hmm.
love that man. I have been following him since way before I was even trans, before I even had any inkling. Like, oh, he's the one.
Oh yeah.
He's the one.
Hmm.
I still follow him on Twitter and stuff. I just,
Oh, same.
ah,
Same.
his tattoos are so fucking cool, dude. I want his
They
tattoos.
are.
I want his tattoos.
They're so cool. I mean, he's just cool.
He's just
He's
so
just
cool.
like the coolest guy
Uh,
ever. Like yeah.
I wanted to be him for so long. Like, it was ridiculous. Elliot Fletcher too. I started reading Elliot's book and then I forgot to finish it, but it was good. What I read, it was good.
Yeah. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard really good
Yeah.
things.
Um.
Yeah.
Now, which anti-trans law or transphobic opinion about social norms and whatnot upsets you the most?
So I would say like the entire like bathroom dilemma, especially here in Utah and like what's going on in Florida,
Mm.
is just like if at least here in Utah, if anyone sees you going into the bathroom that doesn't correspond to the sex that you were assigned at birth, they can you can be reported. There's like a way to report this, and then you can go to jail. Like you can be prosecuted for like trespassing in the wrong bathroom. And I think that that is horrifying for trans people just all across the board, because it's like, yes, I may pass really really well, but like what if on the off chance someone catches me and it's like, okay, am I gonna go to jail just because I need to go like pee? Like, are you kidding me? And
Mm.
it's just like, I don't get it. Like, the bathroom is just such a sensitive thing that it's like, why can't we just go do what we need to do and leave? Like, why does it become this bigger mess than it needs to be?
No, that's some scary shit. And like, it's rough because like I haven't. I mean, I talked about the bathroom law a lot in, like, more of the beginning episodes of the podcast. And I haven't talked about it in a while because sometimes I live in New York, blue state, so it's not something I have to worry about very often. But also I pass really well, so when I do have to use the bathroom, I mean, like, I'm thinking about it for sure. I try my absolute fucking hardest to not go into public restrooms. I hold my shit if I have to, or if I, whatever. But if I really have to go, like, I'll do it, and I'm terrified. I'm terrified that someone's gonna hear the stream of my piss and fucking clock me. Like,
It's a fear. Like,
yeah,
it is like such an irrational thing to
mhm,
have to worry about, but I mean, it's terrifying because you really don't know.
mhm.
And like, I just, yeah, like I.
No, it's scary as hell, and like, it's the bathroom law makes absolutely no fucking sense because then you're sending men who look exactly like us or even more muscly and bear-like into women's restrooms.
Mhm.
Are are we okay?
Yeah.
Like, did you think this all the way through? Because I don't think that you did.
Mm-mm.
And I not to talk about politics or anything, but I just would like everyone to know that if Trump becomes president again, that law is going to be 10 times fucking worse. 10 times
Oh,
fucking
it
worse.
absolutely.
And like, I understand that there are people out there who pretend to be trans women in order to get into women's restrooms, but like, can we figure out a new way? Can we figure out a new
Yeah.
way to get them to stop going in there? And like, I don't know. If if somebody if that's the case, like, if a man, if a cis man wants to get into a woman's restroom, they're going to find a way.
Mhm.
If, trans people weren't a thing, they would find a way. They don't
Oh, yeah.
have to dress up as a woman in order to do so. Like, it pisses me off because cis men are the disgusting, vile ones, and trans people are the ones who are getting in trouble for it. We're not
Mhm.
allowed to use the bathroom because cis men are fucking vile. Are we joking? Are we joking?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like we're not the problem. Like, there are so many other things that are the problem, and we are not. Like, we are very bottom of like the totem pole. Like, most of us, at least most of the trans people I know,
Mhm.
we're typically like pretty anxious, like very kept to ourselves people, especially out in public.
Mhm.
And so you think that we're gonna be the problem. Like, we're gonna be doing all of these horrible things.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. And also, like, it makes no sense because, like, as I said, like, we go into the bathroom and, like, yes, we're afraid that we're gonna get caught or whatever, but, like, you can't tell. A trans man walks into a men's restroom or a trans woman walks into a woman's restroom, 99.9% of the time, cis people cannot fucking tell that we're trans. So like, I mean, I
Mm-mm.
was just in Florida. I use public restrooms. Nobody knew. Like,
Oh yeah, no.
you really think y'all motherfuckers are gonna clock every trans people? Then like, oh my god, go online and just type in trans people, and you'll see that we don't look like they expect us to look like fucking I don't even know, like men with wigs on or women who just
Yeah.
dress masculine. Like, oh my god, get educated. Like,
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It blows my mind. I can't process it. And it just like it cracks me up because like I've been in that situation where I've like walked into the men's bathroom and they're like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?"
that's
And I'm like, "You don't even know. Like you have no fucking clue
Mhm,
at all. Like
mhm.
you just think I'm another one of the dudes.
Right.
And like you have no idea."
Yep.
Like I don't know. It blows my mind.
That pisses me off. And like trans men have it a little bit easier when it comes to the bathroom because, I feel like for trans men, it's a little bit easier to pass.
Hmm.
Even if like, you've been on hormones for the same amount of time as a trans woman. So I feel worse for trans women in this situation, especially because men don't give a fuck when they're in the bathroom. They're not
Hmm.
paying attention to you. They want to take a dump and they want to leave without washing their hands. That's what they care about.
Whoa. Mm-mm. No.
That's what they care about. Women, on the other hand, are curious and judgmental and bitchy, and they want to know.
Hmm.
They're looking for you, and that's why I feel bad for trans women. I
Oh,
just
same.
can I just say, go vote this year, y'all, so that we don't have to deal with this. Maybe just go vote.
Right.
Maybe that'll fix
Yeah.
it.
Save us. Save us some suffering, please.
A couple more questions for you before we go. I do want to ask you what advice you have for trans youth because I saw the survey that you took, which I appreciate you taking. Um, your reasoning for wanting to be on the podcast, but you said that you had a younger person in your life who is trans, right? Am I getting that right? You
Hmm.
have a younger person
Yep.
in your life who's trans, and for them to be able to see you specifically or a trans person just talking and being visible and showing them that it's completely fine and it's right and it's a good thing to surround yourself with people who are like you and to talk about it. And I don't know, I thought that was really cool. I was like, that's the best reason to want to be on the pod, you know what I mean? I absolutely
Yeah.
love that. So what advice would you give for a younger trans person?
Well, I mean, most importantly, considering like the state of what's going on with like trans youth right now, whether it's healthcare rights, whatever it is, like the most important thing that they need to know is that they're loved, that they're valid, that they're important, that you're being seen. We see you. And like us as trans adults, like we're sitting here, we're fighting this fight for you. We're here for you. Like you are important and we will make sure that you know that you are taken care of. Because when if I had a person like me who would have done what I'm doing right now to like advocate for like trans kids, there's probably a good chance that I would have come out as trans sooner and I would have been able to live more authentically a lot sooner. And so, like, the most important thing is that, like, there is nothing wrong. Like, you are very valid in every way, shape, and form and like that is what they need to know that like we will continue to fight and make sure that they have the same rights that we do because there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. Period. Absolutely perfect. I think it's super important, and that is super important. And like, that's what I've never understood about transphobic people or ignorant people. Like, what are you getting out of this? What do you think is going to happen if y'all win? You think that trans people are just going to disappear? Homie, we have been around since before like your brain can even comprehend. And
Mm,
that's what people don't understand is that like we have been here since the beginning of time, and you not liking us, you thinking that it's a mental illness is not going to do anything. Like, we are here and we
oh,
are not going anywhere. Just like cis people, middle-aged white men and women who are like, well, we're just trying to make America a better place for the youth. That is all trans people are trying to do as well. I'm trying to
mm,
make it so that younger trans people have a better life than the people before me and the people who are, my age right now. That is
yeah.
all anybody is trying to fucking do. And it's like we're fighting about the kids, but the kids, like, I can't even when it comes to the kids. Like,
No.
we're all fighting for the same fucking reasons to make life better for the children. And you telling me that I'm a groomer, and me telling you that, trans people just want to be who they are and it has nothing to fucking do with kids. Like,
Just let us live.
I need to take deep breaths when I
Like,
talk about that subject.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Serious decompression.
Mhm.
Like, it's so irritating.
Mhm.
It really is.
One final thought before we end today's episode. I haven't asked this question in a while. My episodes have been running kind of long lately, but to you, what does being a man mean? The whole Matt Walsh, what does being a woman mean to you? I want to ask
Yeah.
trans people, what does it mean to be trans, or what does it mean to be a man or a woman? So to you, what does it mean to be a man?
I mean, I think that, being a man doesn't mean that you have to be this big, huge, burly, super masculine man. Like, I think that gender can be fluid. I mean, there is nothing wrong with having both a masculine and a feminine side, whether you identify as male or female. Like, it's a spectrum, and that is totally fine. And you don't have to meet all of these like stereotypes. Like, you can make it your own. Like, am I super masculine? No. Am I super feminine? No. I'm like right here in the middle, and that's totally fine. I don't think you have to meet like gender norms at all. Like, you can be who you want to be, and that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that one thing or another doesn't make me a man, and it doesn't make me a woman, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that more people need to understand that it's not black and white. There's a lot of gray area.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Could you imagine living in a world where like everything was that black and white? Like being a woman is you have to meet this specific criteria, and being a man is you have to meet this specific criteria. Like that is so boring. That is so fucking
Oh
boring.
yeah.
That's giving like a man who refuses to wear pink. Like, have you like no fun
Come
in
on.
your life? Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
ick, cringe, gross.
You. Yeah, no. Couldn't be me.
Period. I love that answer, Ricky. That was absolutely perfect. Before we go, give me your trans song of the week.
So I was tossing a couple around, and I finally landed on one. And the one that I chose was Fine by Noah Kahan.
Hell yeah, fucking Noah Khan. I've been waiting for somebody to bring up Noah Khan.
Ugh, dude, so many of his songs have just been like my fucking battle anthems through like my transition.
Mhm.
And that was like the one that I was like, yep, that's going to be it. That's my one.
A lot of his songs are transcoded. I've heard. I've only listened to Noah Khan a couple times. I think this is one of the songs that I've listened to before, and I will say it's a good song. You should go check it
It
out.
is. Good one.
It's always in the description below. Ricky, where can people follow you?
So two main socials I have are Snapchat and Insta. Those are the only ones I really pay attention to.
Nice.
And then Snapchat is lime_Rickie, and Insta is handsome_devil.
Period. That will be on screen and in the description below. Please, please, please go follow Ricky. This is one of my favorite episodes. It was nice. It was chill. We had some great fucking conversations. I absolutely love this episode. So definitely go follow Ricky. And make sure you follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. I post all the time. Follow me on Patreon or subscribe to me on Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. I have lots and lots of bonus content on there, and I work really hard on it. And if you want to see this podcast grow, if you want to see my After Dark series grow, subscribe to my Patreon. It's only like $5 a month. If you could swing it, I would really appreciate it. And while you're at it, you might as well go buy a sticker. They look like this. Go buy a sticker. And what else the fuck do I have to say? Oh yeah, I stream video games. I stream video games on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my friends. Come hang. It's a lot of fun. And join my Discord if you haven't already. And that is about it for this week. Ricky, thank you so much for being on this episode. I had so much fun.
Me too. It's a good time. Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Of course. I will see you guys next week. I love you so much. Bye.